Hello, my name is Simon Hinks, and what I do is I help businesses become compliant with data protection regulations. And today I wanted to talk to you about SMEs and the conflict they seem to have with spending time and money and resources on becoming compliant with GDPR. Now, the SME market is huge for the UK and consists of one-man bands all the way up to quite large organisations with huge turnovers. My experience is that I would say a quarter to a third of all SMEs have not considered or started any kind of GDPR compliance program at all. And then you've got those who have dabbled into it but really don't know what to do next for whatever reason. So I just wanted to spend this short time really confirming why GDPR is a real positive to have as a business, regardless of the size and what you do. Now, GDPR was brought in 3 years ago to ensure that the individual personal data, as they call it, had certain rights. And those rights are there to ensure that their data is used in a way which is transparent, i.e. they know what's being done to their data, they know how it's being used, and they also know where it's being used, i.e. what country, and it was really around the marketing, the emails, that the data protection was brought in to help, and also around the use of social media. We also have PECR, P-E-C-R, which is a regulation which has been around for a lot longer than GDPR, and is going through the EU courts currently to be updated. So, okay, so we've got GDPR, we've got this regulation, data protection. As a business, why should I be spending money to become compliant with this regulation? Okay, well, if I'm an organisation and my most valuable assets will be my customers, my customer base. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't really want to not look after the information of my most loyal customers. And you may actually know an awful lot about these customers, as well as their email addresses, telephone numbers, work addresses. You may also have information about their personal email, their personal phone number, and also their personal home address, for example. And if I'm a customer, I would ensure, or I would look to ensure that you were looking after my data and that it wouldn't fall into the hands of someone who can defraud me of my identity or begin to take out fictitious loans for whatever reason. So working towards becoming compliant ensures that you're being transparent. So there's no harm in letting your customers know. I know it's 3 years since the regulations came in, and there's nothing wrong in starting today or tomorrow, but there's quite a positive message to give your customers to say, look, we're on a journey now. We recognise that we weren't ready in 2018, but we are now working towards becoming compliant. And what that means to you as a customer is that we are accountable to what we do with your information. We will be perfectly transparent about that. We will let you know where we hold it. We're going to let you know what we're going to do with it. We're going to let you know if we share it. And we'll also ask you whether we can market to you as well additional products and services. Now, what this means is that from a customer's viewpoint, there are certain choices that they can make around being marketed to, but it also says to the customer, you know, these guys, they value my information as well as my business. And as a brand, you would, in my view, you would ensure that your brand equity is increased or improved if people see that you are on this journey. And I talk about a journey because to become compliant, it doesn't happen overnight, nor does it happen when you just generate a load of policies. It's a bit more than that. The business has to take on board a slightly different way of working and embed data protection into everything that it does. And, you know, this also includes football clubs as well. You know, it's all kinds of businesses that have data about their customers, but also about their staff as well. I mean, if you have a number of staff members, you know an awful lot about them, their medical history, you know, their previous employment, their bank account details, etc., etc. And if I'm working for a business, I want to know that you are really, you know, on top of looking after my data, and then it's not going to be lost or stolen by someone just walking into the office. And so, you know, there's a big plus for staff, big plus for customers. And I think the other thing really worth mentioning is that SMEs will talk about, well, I haven't got the time or I haven't got the money. Well, you know, if you're not going to spend money in becoming compliant, the day may come where your data gets hacked or lost, you know, for whatever reason, a laptop gets stolen or left on the train, you lose your customer data, you lose your business. It's very simple as that. And how much is your business worth to you? And, you know, I help companies become compliant, and there are other people like me, and the cost is not that great when you look at what it gets you at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be that great. And I think that the cost is the least of the problems. And also, I think it's a priority. It's a priority for SMEs to ensure the ones that need to become compliant are compliant. Now, not everyone needs to go through the process. You know, if you want to know whether you do, then contact me, and I can talk you through what the ICO says about business of your size and scale, and also what you're up to. I mean, I look for ways to ensure that any business, big or small, can continue to function as a business and continue to do the marketing that they want to do, but do it within the framework of GDPR and also PECR, PECA. Sometimes we have to make changes, but at the end of the day, if you're not making the changes, it normally means that what you're doing is against the data protection regulations. So, you know, if your customers were to complain for whatever reason and the ICO investigated you, they have the powers to stop you or to fine you. So it's not something that is going to go away. It's going to remain here. It's going to be here another 3 years. The ICO will continue to fine organisations that don't comply. You can start now. There's no harm in that. You know, even if you're not registered with the ICO and you need to be registered, because it's 3 years ago, they won't automatically fine you for not being compliant, even though it's 3 years ago. they will expect you to have a project plan in place, and that you've mapped your journey out on the road to compliance. So it's something that I would recommend that you do, or I would recommend that you contact me and we have a chat about any concerns and issues that you might have going forward, and I can talk to you about the pros and the cons and the risks that are involved in not becoming compliant with the regulation. But I would say that from the element of transparency, your customers will see you as a more positive example of a business if they know that you are compliant or on the road to compliance. So you've been listening to Simon Hinks from PMA, and thank you very much.